when Baseball Reference decided that, okay, we're now going to embrace the statistics of the Negro Leagues, and baseball itself started referring to the Negro Leagues as Major League Baseball. Can you talk about how that has influenced, validated? What word would you use to say that it did to the overall perspective of a lay baseball fan to the credibility of the Negro League game?
I like the way you put the question, to a lay baseball fan, because those who have been studying the history for many years and who've been looking into especially the statistical records of these players say, well, of course they're major leaguers. And that's how I felt, and that's how many of us felt here at the Baseball Museum. Well, for the lay baseball fan, and those are the folks who are probably the most interested and excited about this entire situation, it is revelatory, is the word that I would say, because honestly, there are probably some people and players that they may have heard of, but a lot of them that they have not heard of, but at the same time, don't really quite understand what this means. It is a major step forward in bringing Negro League players into the more broad conversation about their talents and abilities and what they, more importantly, what they went through in comparison to their contemporaries in Major League Baseball. And I think that's the most important thing. The whole statistical issue is something that's been going for many years. And most people are just discovering it with the announcement by Major League Baseball in December. And then, as you noted more recently, with the inclusion of some of that data in Baseball Reference. This is the middle of the story. This isn't the beginning of the story. It's an apex of a lot of hard work from a lot of people. The museum is really a consumer of this information, just like everyone else. And it's very nuanced, and I won't go into the details of that, but it's not going to be cut and dry. We're going to have all these statistics. And part of that issue, though, which is important to understand, and as we learned last year, is that over the years, this history was ignored, in part because of systemic racism. And we do not have a full statistical record of the Negro Leagues. And we may not ever get 100% full statistical record of the Negro Leagues, because the leagues were ignored in some respects. So it's nuanced in what's going to be included, but these players had already earned their seat at the table in the discussion. And so now we can discuss them even further, again, in comparison to their white contemporaries, and I think even more intelligently now to that. So that's what I'm excited about. But at the same time, the one thing that for lay people, especially, is understanding what these ball players had to go through just to play baseball every day. And as our president, Bob Kendrick, often says, is no truer example of love of the game than these players in the Negro Leagues, because you had to go through so much outside of the game in order to just play the game. And then within the game, you certainly didn't have the same amenities as your major league counterparts, but you kept playing anyway. And you kept playing in many cases at an extremely high level. So this is love of the game and understanding what the Black community had to go through. So if this is your introduction to Black history through baseball, and then understanding more in a broader way what African Americans had to go through and how we got to the point that we've gotten with all the situations that we're still dealing with today, then welcome to the conversation.